Hi everyone, so we are back today. We're going to be making another soup since we seem to be still in the dead of winter, even though March is here. It seems like we can't shake the cold and snow, so we're trying out some more soups to try and keep warm. Soup is also a great way to be a really hearty meal without a lot of the calories. So today we're going to make a chicken tortilla soup. The fun thing about this is you don't necessarily need to use chicken. We're going to do some variations of it and show you that you can kind of play around with it a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so our first step here is we're going to turn the stove on medium heat. Then we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil in there. You can see I already had a little bit in there, but I let it heat up so some of it burnt off there. We'll do that, and then we're going to go ahead and start sauteing our onions. And so we are going to do a full cup of chopped onions. You can see we've kind of meal prepped, so we have a whole tin of onions here. But we'll do a heaping cup of those and put those in there. And then we'll let those brown here. And we'll just, like I said, cook these for a few minutes until the onions are translucent. So we'll let that go, and once we have those, we'll add in our garlic, and we will be doing roughly 4 cloves of garlic. You can adjust this if you really don't like garlic, go a little bit later on it. We might actually go a little bit heavier on it just because we really like the flavor of garlic. Alright, our next step here is going to be adding in garlic, and we'll actually be adding in carrots and celery as well. Since this will end up being a blended soup, I went ahead and just kind of pulverized my carrots and celery right away. If you don't do this and you want to cook it in the full pieces, throw this in with the onions, throw your chunks in with the onions to saute them right away. I'm just trying to do a little bit of a time saver since carrots can take a while to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and add this mixture right now. You can see I didn't quite blend everything up, so we'll put those back in the blender before, or the Ninja here, food processor. Let's get some of this out before we blend up the rest and add in the garlic, and we'll let this cook for a few more minutes. And like I said, I'm just doing this to save time because we will end up blending everything in this pot anyway. So it shouldn't change the constitution of the meal. Blend this a little bit longer, and in the meantime I am going to add some garlic. We do get the pre-minced garlic, otherwise you'll want about 4 cloves. I'm going to go a little heavy just because we really enjoy garlic in our dishes around here. We'll let this cook for another, once you get everything in there, we'll let it cook for another minute or 2. Okay, so once you've cooked this down, we're going to start putting it back in our Ninja or your food processor or blender, whatever you're using. And I put in just a little bit of tomato sauce here. You can use water or tomato sauce. We have a lot of canned tomatoes, so we're actually using all kind of tomato sauce, tomato juice, in place of just the broth. So we'll add some of the chicken bouillon to ours later, but right now we're just adding enough liquid to kind of blend this up, and then we'll bring it back to the pot. Alright, so once you have everything blended, which I have here, I'm going to go ahead and put that back in my saucepan here. I added, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 4 cups of tomato juice to my mixture, just to get it to blend better. So you can do that, or you can just add some water. In total, we'll want 12 cups of fluid. So you can either use broth or tomato juice or water and bouillon, whatever works best for you. Like I said, we're going to try and use primarily tomato juice just because of how much we have canned. And we'll add some bouillon to that. So I'm just cleaning off my blade here. Try and get a little bit more of the mixture out of my blender. But once you do that, we'll go ahead and add our remaining broth or water and bouillon. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in the rest of this tomato juice. And since I'm having trouble getting the cans open, the jars open, I'm going to add some of my bouillon right away. So I'm going to put in roughly 6 teaspoons, or that would be 2 tablespoons of bouillon here. You can follow the directions. I'm going a little bit light just because we like it to be a little bit less salty. Otherwise, follow the directions for your 12 cups of broth. And then, once we get the rest of our water in there, we'll add some more spices. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump to that because, like I said, I can't get my tomato jar open right now, so I'm going to jump ahead so you can keep making it, and then I will come back to that in a little bit. So we'll be adding some oregano. Go ahead and pull that out. So we have a giant thing of oregano. You might have a smaller one, but you'll need oregano and chili powder and some salt and pepper. And so we'll grab our measuring spoons here, and we will actually want 2 teaspoons of oregano. And again, you can kind of do this to taste whatever the flavor is that you like better if you've made this before. We'll also do 2 teaspoons of chili powder. If you want this to be spicier, feel free to add some extra. Or you could even do some smoked paprika if you really want to, like the hot smoked paprika, if you want to add a lot of heat to it. And then we'll just do about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt and pepper. You can always add more of these to the final product. So I like to go light on salt because if you go too heavy, you can't take it out. But if you start light, you can always have salt and pepper at the table. So I'm doing half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm actually going to go ahead and just leave the salt out for now. See what the flavor turns into first. And then we're going to go ahead and add some chicken. So you'll want about 6 cups of chicken. In our case, chicken was ridiculously expensive this week, so we made a pulled pork, but looks fairly similar to chicken, actually tastes fairly similar when it's mixed into a dish like this. An easy way to make this is the pulled chicken or pulled pork is either to cook it in your crock pot overnight and it just kind of flakes apart. Otherwise, what we did this time to try and hurry it along is we pan cooked chunks of pork and actually put it in the Ninja, and this is what it turns into. So like I said, you want 6 cups, so roughly 2 of these Pyrex dishes. So we'll go ahead and add that, and then we're going to let it kind of simmer for another 10 or 15 minutes just so this can soak up the flavor. And then we will check back with you, and we'll show you it once I have all of the liquid in here too. Now that you have your soup boiling or simmering for quite a while here, you can see I added more liquid to it, so it's a lot more soupy. So the next thing to do is just how to serve it. So you'll want to have either a kind kind of fried or baked tortilla to throw in there. We're actually going to go ahead and use tortilla chips just because they're on hand and we don't have to bake them. And then we'll want a little bit of cheese, and we're actually going to cut up an avocado to throw in there too. And if it's not spicy enough, you can add some salsa. So take a look at how ours looks when we serve it, and hope you enjoy your chicken tortilla soup, or in our case, our pork tortilla soup. Thanks for joining us. If you want to have a printout of this recipe, head over to the blog, which is linked in the description below or in one of the cards above. We have a printable recipe available. Otherwise, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and we look forward to having you back soon.